The aim of this is that even within the next 30 to 40 minutes, I want to be able to show you how you can look, sound, and feel real on camera. And why would you want to do that? Well, one main reason. Let's say you're a writer, and presumably you are on Substack, because that's where we are right now, and most people on the Substack platform are writers. Some are only readers, but most of us are writers or digital creators. And so we're reaching an audience with our creativity, and a lot of us do so to monetize that creativity. And we can do that by selling our work, or by providing consulting services and coaching for a fee. And most of us are doing that in the written word. The written word, your brilliance in writing and text, has its limitations as far as the connections you can make directly with your audience, your readers. Video, on the other hand, builds an immediate trust and authority that cannot be matched in any other format. It lets your audience feel you real in ways that can't be done in any other format, especially writing or text alone. The benefits are many. And where can you go live? I'm going to speak specifically here about going live on camera. It does also cut across to recording and then publishing a recorded video, and that's fine. But let's just focus on going live, since that's really what's being driven here on Substack at the moment. I mean, have you seen the number of creators who are going live? Some are going live every day. I've seen some Substackers who have got a 30, 60, 90, or even a 100-day publishing plan to go live every day. Good luck to them. It's fantastic. Going live on Substack. Where else can we go live? Okay, let's broaden our scope just a little bit. So we're on Substack. We're talking about going live. I'm live right now on this workshop. Where else online can you go live? Well, I've listed them here. Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, X, formerly Twitter, Vimeo, Google Meet, Zoom, and others. Now, with all that choice of major name platforms that make the feature of being able to go live on video available, don't you think that's a message to us of the scope and the future and the benefits of doing so? Yes, of course it does. So let's get to the crux of this. If you look and search for skills or tips or coaching on going live or going on camera, you'll see that almost all of those sources quote confidence, quoting camera confidence, on-camera confidence. Well, I want to be the anti-confidence person here, because I don't believe that confidence can get you on camera in a real sense. You can fake confidence, and with that comes the tension and the anxiety and the artificial aspects of it. That's not being real. So I don't promote confidence. Confidence, yes, can come as a byproduct, as a consequence of going on camera, going live, going recorded, going on video. Certainly, the more reps you do, the more confidence you will develop naturally. But aiming to create confidence as the precursor, as the cause of going on video, I think is missing the point entirely. So I'm throwing rocks and throwing stones at the whole concept of get confidence to go on camera. I found something that works a lot better. And where did I find this concept that I'm sharing in this workshop? Well, let me tell you that I was a professional entertainer and performer, not full-time. I was a part-time entertainer, a variety entertainer, and I did a lot of work on TV, radio, and on stages. And in the beginning, the nervousness and the fear and anxiety would consume me. And then I developed a skill and an ability to overcome that and enable me to step in front of the cameras in a TV studio with a live audience, go on radio and actually host a breakfast radio show, and also be on stage, whether it was in plays or comparing and emceeing or stand-up comic, as being doing stand-up comedy, which I did for a number of years. Where am I going with this, and where does this lead you to? It leads you to what Neville Goddard, the 20th century mystic and teacher of the metaphysical principles of the law of assumption. And Neville Goddard would say and teach to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So take your desire. Your desire is to go on camera and not freeze when that countdown 3, 2, 1 appears, or on Substack we see it going live now, or whatever platform you're on, and whatever the prompt is to let you know that you're about to go live or the recording is about to begin. And in our natural state, we can freeze up because it just causes a natural instinct to be, oh, here we go. And that can be all consuming and can actually stuff everything up completely. And then what can happen is, if you're recording, you stop the recording, you try 15 times to get your introduction right. If you're live, you press the stop button because you think it's just not working out, or you continue and then you watch yourself back on replay and you're not happy. You don't like the way you sound. You don't like the way you look. You just don't feel right about it. And worst case scenario, you give up entirely. Please don't do that. Do not give up. Neville Goddard's The Law of Assumption, assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Now, I can tell you now, you could jump off this workshop right now and go and search Neville Goddard, Law of Assumption. You can do that. You can, or do it afterwards. You can search Feeling is the Secret, one of his books, and read it. In fact, I encourage you to read Neville Goddard's books and listen to the original recordings of his lectures. There's lots to be gained, but I'm giving you a shortcut here based on experience. It's one thing to read and study the source. It's another to hear from someone who's actually used that material, as I've done over the years, and applied it, and in many cases changed the course of my life. In fact, to tell you about that, let me give you one story, one example of how I've used Neville Goddard's principle of the law of assumption, and feeling is the secret, and assuming the feeling is the wish fulfilled, to be the wish fulfilled. So in 2009 was when I got sober from substance abuse addiction. Many, many years, many attempts. I'd be sober for a stretch of time, then I'd relapse, and it just got all very messy in my entire life. I desperately wanted sobriety, and in 2009 was when I had my last drink and substance, and I've been sober since 2009. How did I get there? Well, there are a number of things in play, but central to it all was this very principle of assuming the identity and the feeling of somebody who is sober. Rather than trying and efforting to be sober and not pick up the drink, I assumed the identity and the feeling of the identity of someone who doesn't drink anymore. And that is the simplicity of it. And you know what? It sounds too simple to be true, doesn't it? Don't we need something far more complex to help us get on camera and overcome fear and not be presenting ourselves with fake confidence? Surely the depth of that problem requires a much more complex solution, doesn't it? Don't we feel cheated unless the solution seems so complicated it's almost impossible? No, not at all. The simple solution is so simple, and it works. And so let's apply it to going on camera. So here's what you do. You've got the desire, presuming you've got the desire to go on camera without fear or fake confidence, and build your reps, and the confidence will naturally occur as a result. But to do it, to take that first step, or to continue despite or in spite of you hating the way you look, hating the way you sound. I saw somebody on another platform say, I can't do video. I just hate the way I look. Quote, unquote, this person said, I just hate the way I look on video. And that stopped them from, but they're a digital creator. Okay, if they choose not to go on video, then nobody's pushing them to do it. There's encouragement for sure, and I'd be encouraging you to do video and go on video more than what you're doing now, or start doing it if you haven't done it yet. So start with the desire. The desire is to go on camera without fear and without fake confidence. All right. So what would that feel like? What would that look like? Create the scene in your imagination of you being on camera, not being as in doing it, but after the event. This is an important point. Create the scene of the after event. What would it look like and feel like 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days after you've successfully, success as determined by you, been on camera live, been on camera recorded on video, and to your measurement of success, it has worked. You're happy and grateful for it. What's the feeling? Well, I've just given you the feeling. You're happy and grateful. It could be joy, it could be relief, but you're happy and grateful. And that's the key feeling to have. I've given it to you. Happy and grateful. What more success would you want? Or there could be tangible successes. You could earn more money by going on video. You certainly can. There can be other advantages as well that you could measure in a material, external sense. But the internal reward is where we're going, because it's the inner world of identity that will get you on camera, not the external rewards in the beginning. So the desire is to go on camera without fear and without faking confidence. And so we create that scene in our mind, in our imagination. We spend just seconds doing so, not minutes, not 20 minutes or 30 minutes or 60 minutes seated in the lotus position with a candle burning and soft lights, or soaking in a bath, although there's nothing wrong with that. But this creating a scene of the wish fulfilled takes seconds. How long? Literally, as long as it would take for you to put a key into a lock and turn the lock to open a door. 3 seconds, 5 seconds at most. Get the feeling from the scene. Happy and grateful. Oh, here's another real example. Trapped overseas during COVID. Yes, my family and I were in the Philippines. We couldn't even come home for my father's funeral, who died while we were overseas in the Philippines during COVID. And that was an experience not to be repeated, I can tell you. But there we were, and against all odds, I thought, I've got to apply the law of assumption here to get us home, to be home, to have the feeling of being happy and grateful that we're home again. And so I actually created a scene in my mind, which was, what would imply the wish fulfilled? Here's an important point. In the scene that you create, what would imply the wish fulfilled? I created a scene of my wife, our daughter, and myself seated together in a three-row seating on the international flight about to take off from the Philippines airport, heading home to Australia. And the actual scene, if you can add sound and touch to the feeling of the scene, you'll make it even stronger. So do you know what I did? I imagined in the first person point of view, not looking above, looking down at me and my wife and our daughter seated, but from my first person point of view in the scene in my imagination, I saw myself clicking the aeroplane seatbelt on, as did my daughter in the middle and my wife in the outer seat. I had the window seat, of course, and click. The feeling of holding the metal ends of the seatbelt, and click. I felt the seatbelts in my hands, and I saw the two ends coming together, and there was the audible click. Now that took just 3 to 5 seconds. And I repeat, and my wife and my daughter doing the same thing. So there was the click, the three of us. Now that was the scene of the wish fulfilled. And I'm so happy and grateful, I felt. And I did feel happy and grateful in the scene that, we're on the plane, we're going home at last. Well, that's exactly. Now, I replayed that. I lived in the Philippines, even though the bridge of incidents had yet to occur in the 3D reality world of us having our tickets, having the approval, the government approval, the visa approval for my wife, Filipino wife, and everything required to get home. Despite the bridge of incidents in the 3D world yet to occur, I was happy and grateful that in my mind, we were already on the plane heading home. And I lived from that feeling, not towards that feeling of the goal achieved. I hope you're with me, because that's exactly how it played out. And there we were. In reality, at that time, the bridge of incidents had occurred. We'd crossed the bridge of incidents, of situations, circumstances, and events, people, places, and things had occurred to get us on the plane. We clicked our seatbelts, the plane took off, and 8 hours later, we landed in Melbourne, Australia, home again, despite all odds. Now, what's that got to do with you and going on video? What would your scene be? What would your scene in your imagination, a scene that would imply the wish fulfilled? How would you feel happy and grateful? What would you see? What would you hear? That's the scene you create, and repeat that every day, 3 to 5 seconds at a time, when you wake up in the morning, at some time during the day, and when you go to bed at night before falling asleep. That's just 3 times a day. That's something like 9 to 15 seconds maximum during the entire day. And that's how you prepare. Now, if you do that, you've created an internal identity, because you are the person who will act from the feeling, not It's the identity and the person doing rather than the actual doing that's key here. So your identity of going on camera live without fear and without fake confidence is the person that can and will and does appear on camera. And then you're the person who does it. It's not in the doing, it's the person doing. I hope that makes itself clear. I hope I'm making myself clear. Let me know in the comments, will you please? Let me know whether I'm making myself clear to you here right now. I really hope I am. I've got so much information in my mind I want to get across to you in such a short amount of time. I feel like maybe I'm not getting the point across well enough for you, and I hope I am. So here's the sequence. Clarify the desire. In this case, going live, going on video, going on camera. No fear and without fake confidence. Create the scene in your mind that would imply the wish fulfilled. And then feel the after relief in that scene of the wish having been fulfilled, the joy and the happiness, I'm feeling happy and grateful. And bring that feeling from there to here, the present, from then to now, the present, and act and live from the feeling, not towards the feeling as if it's a goal. But feeling is the secret, not the trying, not the effort, but the feeling. Act from the feeling. If you try and do it, if you try and do anything, there is the implication that there's a gap between where you are now and the outcome that you want, because you're trying. You're trying to do it, you haven't done it yet. Whereas if you act from the feeling of the wish fulfilled, it's already done, it's already fait accompli from the feeling, from the inner self, So feeling it real on camera, feeling it real anywhere, what are the obstacles you can face? The obstacles that you can experience are that it doesn't feel real. Well, in fact, somebody said to me one day, so Mike, if I feel that I'm an orange, will I be an orange? As absurd as that sounds, he really said that. And that was his way of getting his skepticism across, and that's okay. And somebody asked Neville Goddard a similar question, or somebody, if it wasn't Neville, it was one of Neville's key students, like it was Bob Proctor or it was Wayne Dyer, or somebody who was a student of Neville's teachings and then used Neville's teachings in their own work. Might have been Wayne Dyer, actually. And the answer was, well, does it feel natural for you to live your life as an orange? So absurd as it sounds. Does it feel natural to live? Does it feel natural that you'd be an orange? Well, of course, the guy said no. And that's the key. When you're creating the scene of the wish fulfilled, you check yourself. Does this feel natural? Does it feel natural that I could be happy and grateful that I've now been on camera and I did it, and I'm happy I did it, and I'm grateful I did it, and I know I can do it again. Is that something that could feel natural? Of course it is. And so that's how you match and then surpass the inner voice, your own inner skeptical voice that will start poo-pooing the idea, because that'll happen. Without a doubt, that'll happen. I mean, think back to my sobriety. My inner voice, this is nonsense. This is woo-woo bull BS. This works for others. It won't work for you. This is all in my inner dialogue. Just go and have a drink. You're an alcoholic. You'll always be an alcoholic. Just give into it and drink. Well, I'm glad I didn't give in to those thoughts over time. And I built the bridge of incidents that got me across to being sober every day, and have done for the last 17 years. So I want to now give you a special offer, because there is the idea and the concept and the philosophy. And again, I say to you, the first thing I would recommend is that you read and study Neville Goddard. Read his books. I'd start with 2 books, The Power of Awareness and Feeling is the Secret. And go to YouTube, search Neville Goddard, but be wary. There's a lot of AI-generated content under the channel name or the guise of being Neville Goddard, and it's not Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard is Neville Goddard, and there are channels that you can find online where the actual recordings of Neville's live lectures are published online. So you're listening to the real Neville Goddard speak to his audience. He did weekly lectures. I'd recommend doing that too. But that's one thing. What about the implementation? What about actually you applying this and getting it done? Well, that's probably the hardest part. I've just mentioned about your own inner voice, and you'll hear, if you don't hear it from your own inner voice, the skepticism, it works for others, but it won't work for me. This is just woo-woo BS. Put your feet back on the ground, live in the real world. You know, these are the thoughts you may have, and if you don't hear these from your own inner voice, you'll hear them from others, either specifically directed at you because you've shared your idea with others, which Neville and others and I would recommend you don't do. You keep your plans and your goals and your wishes and your desires to yourself. But if you do share them with others, particularly family members, oh my goodness, yes indeed, that's where you might and are likely to come up against the biggest emotional hurdles and barriers and roadblocks to you doing what we're talking about here. So deny those voices from your own inner dialogue, and prevent those voices and opinions of others, particularly family members, by keeping your desires and secrets to yourself, your desires and your wishes to yourself. If all that was required to solve our problems was information, then none of us would have any problems at all, because information abounds today, especially in this age of AI. I mean, the whole information marketing landscape has almost been decimated by the rise of AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity. All of them can generate information which 30, 40 years ago you'd sit down and write for weeks or months to generate an ebook or a book, or before ebooks, a report. So it's not about information, it's about the doing, the implementation. And if you need help, I've got an offer, a special offer actually, because I have an offer to help mentor you to implement what we've been talking about during this workshop, to help you get on camera, to go live. You go live on video, on camera, and do it and be happy and grateful with the outcome. And the special offer is this. You can see it now by simply going to feelrealnow.com. Feelrealnow.com. All right. So what is the special offer? It's 3 things. It's 1 hour private mentoring call, just you and I. you and I on a call, either a Zoom call or a Google Meet call, or even a private, non-published live call on Substack. We could even do it that way. But it's a 1 hour private mentoring call, and we get to the bottom of your plan to go live without fear and without fake confidence. And then 30 days of asynchronous support from me. So you can email me or DM me, direct message me anytime, day or night, 7 days a week for 30 days. And I'll get back to you with my responses and my guidance and my support and my encouragement for 30 days. And third, and this is probably the cherry on the top, because this really gives you proof of what I'm teaching working for you. You will be my guest on a spot on StarMaker Live, my live show here on Substack, where I will interview you as my guest. You'll take the guest seat on a live stream. I'll make you comfortable as the host. And this is your chance to tell the world about what you do and what you're about. And you'll put everything that we will learn together into action, and with me to support you on the video as well. And you'll get the recording that you can use for your own future publishing, either the full recording or edit it and splice it up into little short notes or reels or however you want to use it. And that's what you get for me. Now, normally that's $297 US, but as a special offer for the first 5 spots only 5 spots at only $97 US for the whole lot. Normally $297, only $97 US. There's only 5 spots available at that special offer. 1 hour private mentoring call with me, 30 days of asynchronous support, email or direct messages here on Substack, where I'll get back to you and support you and answer your questions and your queries. And you'll join me as a featured special guest on our own live stream episode of Substack on, StarMaker Live, and you'll be the guest in the guest seat. And that will be your proof. This will be your proof that what we're talking about, what I teach and what I support you through actually works. Now, here's my guarantee. Good on you, Jeffrey. Thank you. You need to. Thank you very much. Jeffrey wants in. Lovely. That would leave 4 left. Hop in via that link there, Jeffrey, feelrealnow.com, and make the payment of $97 US. That reserves your spot, because I know another spot has been taken already, and that would leave three only of the 5 after you, Jeffrey. But the guarantee. Now, I do give you a guarantee. This is a money-back guarantee on your $97. If when we do if we schedule the live stream and you pull out because you're just too nervous, you've got too much fear and you doubt that you can do it, in other words, you're not ready, and I haven't helped you get ready, I will refund you the full $97 US. That is a no questions asked, so to speak, guarantee. That's how confident I am that Feel It Real and assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled and my support and mentorship will get you online. If it's your first time, you'll do it. And if it's your 5th time, you'll do it in a way that's much, that gives you more happiness and gratitude than what you've done in the past. Good on you, Jeffrey. I'll do that. Also, yeah, I've got it. Jeffrey, just go. All you've got to do, there's no invoice. All you've got to do is go to feelrealnow.com. There's a link. You can just hit the button and pay it. Feelrealnow.com. Feelrealnow.com. $97 US, and you secure your spot. Only 5 spots available in total. So there it is. Let's just summarize now. Going live builds immediate trust and authority that can't be matched in any other format. If you're a creative digital creator, if you're a writer, if you've got a message to share, doing it in text and in writing is one way, certainly, and many do it so very well. But when you go and you connect with your audience like I'm doing with you now live, it is an unmatched way of authenticity and connecting with your readers, your followers, your subscribers. You can go online, pardon me, you can go on camera, you can go on camera on video live, which would what I'm really encouraging, or recorded, and you can do it without fear and without fake confidence by feeling it real. And I've got a way to support you doing that. And all you need to do is go to feelrealnow.com, have a look at the information there. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Don't buy. If it is for you, buy with confidence, pay the $97. Normally it will be $297, but for these first 5 spots, it's just $97.